So Dan, I think we can all agree this is a big day, a historic day. Can you kind of put into perspective how you feel about this day and how you think it is in the context of the history of our country?
First of all, this opens a new chapter in the story of our country. A new beginning, if you will. If you want to try to be poetic about it, that, the better angels of our nature have spoken to us and have given us a break. From here on in, our destiny is, as it always has been, is up to us. The country badly needs healing. And the healing is all well and good to say, well, with a new president, and particularly this new president, Joe Biden, we have a chance to begin the healing process. While those who supported Joe Biden and the Democrats are joyous today and celebrating, and that's good. They celebrate, today, maybe tomorrow, over the weekend. But no later than early Monday morning, we have to get to work. We have to get to work on ourselves and answer the question, what can I do to help heal the country? And if you're looking for suggestions, one is when your feet hit the floor Monday morning, ask yourself, what can I do to help some other person? Particularly, what can I do to help some person that perhaps I don't know too well, and or a person I know who doesn't agree with me politically or ideologically. It has to start with that kind of thinking. And once you get past that, and perhaps when you've done that, helped another person, you can say to yourself, what can I do to help my community? My city, my county, my school district, or what have you. This is the way we begin to build back to higher ground. This is the way we begin to heal. We can't forget that roughly 70 million Americans voted for Donald Trump. Now, we can discuss this until the sunset and beyond about why it happened, how it happened, and maybe we regret that it happened, but we can't forget that almost half of those who voted for Donald Trump. Now, some of those who voted for Donald Trump, I would guess 20 to 25% are hardcore and are going to be very difficult to convince that the election was honest and that Joe Biden actually won all of that. But there are a lot of people who voted for Trump who will also want to be part of the healing process. And so those who supported Biden and the Democrats need to reach out. I know how difficult that is to say, and I know from being on the internet, a lot of people say, don't talk to me about reconciliation. They were tough, they were brutal, they were arrogant, they were ignorant, and so forth and so on. We have to set that aside. We have to reach out to one another. And by the way, it occurs to me, and I just submit this, but I feel frankly pretty strongly about it, that the winners in the election have to really resist the temptation to gloat. I would say to you, gloating is not in the American spirit. And on the other hand, neither is being a poor loser. And losers shouldn't whine. The winners shouldn't gloat. The losers shouldn't whine. Now, President Trump, by nature, is going to whine. He's going to claim that it was all false and that he was robbed and so forth and so on. And by the way, his movement into the courts, which he is doing, and he says he's going to do more of next week, most if not all of that is not about any expectation of winning in the courts. It's really about trying to keep a negative spirit going among his base. But back to think about it, that most of us have competed. We compete in sports, or we compete in debate, or we compete in musical competition, we compete. And it's in the American character to compete hard, but once the competition is over, we line up and shake hands with one another. And metaphorically, it's not asking too much that we try, both as individuals and collectively as a country, to have that spirit prevailing now. I can hear the voices saying, oh, come on, Dan, that's not going to happen. The divisions are too deep. I refuse to believe that. What do we need to do? We need to recognize that we have been badly divided. We need to work on those divisions to pull ourselves together. What are the common things we agree on that unite us? But we need to be steady. Yes, it's one of my favorite words, and I recommend it to anybody just in general, but particularly now, we need to be steady, resolute, know that we have to find common ground and do what we can to heal.
I know there's nobody better than you to tell us what unites us. And today, Joe Biden on his Twitter feed in his statement has already said that he's going to be president for everybody, whether they voted for him or didn't. And I'm wondering how you think he can unite the country. I've already heard that he's possibly going to rekindle a friendship with Mitch McConnell or even Lindsey Graham. What do you think he can do to truly unite the country?
Well, one of the things he can do is keep talking about his intention to be president of all the people. Because now the election's over, and I'm not here to dump or criticize President Trump. But President Trump, the flaw in his presidency, and one of the reasons he didn't get reelected, is that he saw himself basically as president of the people who had voted for him and the people who supported him. And his attitude, I'm sorry to say, and there's no joy in it, generally was everybody else sort of hell with them, take the hindmost. He never really made an effort to be president of all the people. Now, Joe Biden, he's doing the right thing by talking about that. But more important is what he does and what he doesn't do that will demonstrate that he's trying very hard to be president of all the people who voted for Donald Trump, as well as the people who voted for Joe Biden. And yes, I have my own opinion that one of the things he could do very early on, the new president, is reach out to those working people, people in the broad middle of the socioeconomic strata, the welders and welders helpers, the plumbers, the pipe fitters, the bricklayers, people who work in jobs that are not generally considered elite. And I don't mean just union members. Joe Biden has been very good about reaching out to working people, members of unions. He's talked about unions, and that's good as far as I'm concerned. That isn't to say that he doesn't need to reach out to people in all parts of the socioeconomic strata, but particularly that broad middle. He needs to reach out to do, in my judgment. But I come back to, it's good that he's talking about being president of all the people. And I think he can help himself and help us and help the country by continuing to voice that that's what he intends to do. But then he has to do it, and we have to help him do it.